Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to episode 244 of Backpacking America. I'm here to talk about a very interesting topic today of concern for many people. Well, I'm not sure about many people. That's kind of a generalization, but I keep seeing this topic constantly brought up on my social media feeds, and it is referencing the very infamous Adam22 and his new wife, who are embroiled in some debauchery. So basically, Adam22 is a podcaster and YouTuber. He's not a celebrity. He's not really anyone. He's kind of like me, just like a small podcaster dude and very bad at working out as well. I'm not bad at working out, but he is. He can't even bench his body weight, and he's 6 foot, 200 something pounds, and he's benching 115. Anyway, I just had to put that out for the record. But his wife is a porn star, and I think her name is Lena the Plug, and I don't fuck with what happened. So basically, he married a porn star. That was honestly an L on his part because personally, for me, I don't believe in marrying someone with a profession that involves them having sex with other people. If you're marrying me, you're marrying me, and I'm marrying you because I'm marrying you. I don't want to have sex with someone else. So what they decided to do supposedly was they recorded not they, well, she wanted to be okay with Adam to record a uh porn video with this male performer. I forget his name. I don't even care to remember it. I can't even believe that I remember these people's names. But anyway, the concept is what I'm talking about, right? So you know, the story goes like she records the porno. It's insane from what everyone's been sharing. I've been seeing screenshots from it where people are like, "Yo, there's no way Adam is alive right now." This is like they're like, "Yo, Adam 22 right now, definitely with the shotgun in his mouth about to pull a Kurt Cobain." Like I've seen some like heinous like captions of the video and people just like violating Adam 22 and like as they should. So I personally think that he was talked into it by his wife, and he's over here like coping on the internet, like trying to promote the video for clout. Meanwhile, inside he's probably struggling. Um, and apparently, like she really enjoyed the performer she was with and really was excited about it. And that's just disturbing to me because like you're married and like the whole concept of this show that I'm going to discuss is like marriage is an institution. And there's a trend in the United States where polygamy and multiple partners and lack of commitment is regularly accepted and practiced, or there's at least a push to do that. Um, there like, I can't tell you how many people, like, at least in the dating world, I've seen where it's like they're okay with polygamy or sharing their partner or, um, marrying multiple people is okay or dating multiple people at the same time is okay. Uh, I've seen a lot of women, especially in the sex world, or the prostitution world, I don't know, sex work world, whatever the fuck you want to call it, the people that sell their pussy for on the internet for $5, whatever. So for the price of a hamburger, that's what I wanted to go with. So, they're all over here saying like, "Okay, like, it's totally okay, like, I think it should be acceptable for, porn stars and sex performers to continue doing their work and being married." And then everyone else that's not in that world is like, "Yo, that's not okay. Like, I don't wanna share my partner and for me, I'm not okay with that." And then the performers, what they'll say is they'll say, "Oh, well," and some of the feminists too, they'll say like, "Oh, well, you're just insecure because you don't want to share your partner with me and or with someone else, and that just shows how insecure and weak-minded you are." And it's like, no, actually, some people just genuinely want to share life with one person in that regard because a lot of people believe that, you know, marriage, dating, relationships are a commitment and it involves much more than just sex. And sex is viewed as a bonding form, a form of bonding, and they don't want to share that special bond with anyone else. So, and that makes sense. I'm in that camp as well. Um, but there's like a dangerous trend. The reason why this is like so controversial when 10, 20 years it wasn't even that controversial is because OnlyFans is actually very, very prominent and it's very easy for people to sell their private parts for the price of a cheeseburger and not have to go through the stringent casting or embarrassment of working for a professional porn company as was the process 10 to 20 years ago. So now you have independent content creators like myself where I have the apparatus of a radio station in my home. These people have a porn studio in their home. So naturally they're in their mind, they're like shocked that a large amount of society views their lifestyle as not appropriate and wouldn't want to marry them or date them seriously because most people don't want to share their partner. So the push is, psychologically, they're like, well, I have to defend my interests in my life and my lifestyle. So therefore, I have to push this on everyone else to defend myself. So they're militantly pushing a agenda to create an acceptance for, where it's okay to date sex workers and it's okay for sex workers to continue doing their job, so to speak, um, on camera. And you as the partner have to be okay with that because it's just work, it's not serious. At least it's not serious to the performer, but to the partner, it is serious. And who really knows? I mean, listen, the more people you open up sexually with, the likelihood of something happening or like people, cheat on their spouses with people they know at work. Or people, have ended marriages from people they met, at their job, or they break up with people, all the time. People meet people at work, or they meet people when they're out at hobbies or doing hobbies or clubs or functions, all this other shit. Why wouldn't you have that same type of reaction or feeling when you're literally like having sex with the person is part of your job? Like, of course someone is going to end up cheating on someone and be like, nah, I don't want to do this anymore. Um, I don't, that's why with the whole like Adam22 thing and the Lena thing, it's just kind of like it's indicative of where there's a growing trend. I don't think it's the majority of American society, but this niche trend that is very taboo is now being amplified and has a larger base and mode of acceptance than it did 10 to 20 years ago, solely because everything's so much easier to do now and there's platforms to do it. So my major concern is that this is going to become acceptable within like completely acceptable for people to have sex and hook up with other people uh for money or even just to do it. Polygamy I feel is very not okay. I feel like it's damaging to the family. I mean, think of the children, right? Like imagine Adam and Lena have a baby and that child is 12, 13 years old and they're like whatever. You know, imagine like going to school, bro. Like you're in ninth grade. You remember how vicious people were in ninth grade. Like everything was getting insulted. And like I had dudes make fun of my shoes for the stitching in them. Like they cornered me and they examined the stitching in my shoes and they're like, "Yeah, these are fake Jordans. You're poor." I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like I'm trying to go to math. Like I have to fail math class, excuse me. So anyway, like, they're going to look at this shit. Because, someone's going to see that video at 13, 14 years old and be like, "Yo, you're talking all that shit, Lil Adam, because I just saw your mom get railed by this big black dude. Ah, look at this screenshot." Like that's damaging to the kids. Like a lot of people are doing this type of work without regard for themselves, how it's going to affect their family's reputation, let alone their children's reputation. That's the danger when it comes to like marriages like this, where I mean, it's one thing like, there's still the potential that to happen to a child. Um, if the mom or the dad stops doing sex work and then old videos are found and then resurfaced and shown to a kid later, like that's always like a possibility of happening. But it's worse if you're actively doing it throughout your marriage. It just sets a horrible example for what a healthy relationship should be to a child. And that's essential for creating a strong community where it's like, you need like a stable family so you can have a stable person come out of it or stable people if you have, more than one family member. I mean, more than one child, excuse me. Um, so that's like my major concern is that we're gonna have a lot of unstable children. We're gonna have a lot of lack of parental love, I feel. Um, and it's not like regular polygamy either, where it's like, oh, this is mom and dad, or moms and dad. You know what I mean? Like how the Mormons had it. It's it's just like open relationship with random hookups being filmed and shared with the world. I feel like, and I'd like to apologize to those that do practice polygamy because that was actually what I was describing at the beginning of the podcast doesn't represent your type of relationship. It actually represents something worse. Um, so while I don't agree with polygamy to begin with, even though, there could be some positive aspects to it, I understand, but um it's not like Lena and Adam or any of these like sex workers that are married um are having sex with the same three or four people and they're a family unit, which I still think is weird. This is now just like random men or women, and that sets an even worse example for children because it's not even stable. So it's really just like, and stability is important for kids. Like if you don't like every kid that I know that has had an unstable household, they did a lot of fucked up shit when they were teenagers and even into adults, and it's like, okay, now I'm just starting to figure it out in my mid-20s, like maybe I shouldn't be doing this. It's a harder road to success when you have an unstable upbringing. So my major concern is, you know, how's this going to affect our country? I mean, you got unstable individuals now. If this becomes like a major trend, you got unstable individuals running around, not being able to make firm commitments, not being able to succeed in jobs where there's high stress and high commitment levels. What's this going to do to the moralistic fiber of our country? And I understand that this is a debate commonly had, when it comes to partners, openness, closedness. I know this is like nothing new. And this is something too, like a lot of these problems that we're experiencing in today's generation in the early 20s to late 30s where it's like, wow, OnlyFans girls and like everyone's a whore and this and that. This has always existed, but the problem is it's at a much more intense level because it's shown on our phones every day. Like these two people, for example, right? Like Adam22, if this was the 1980s or the 1990s, Adam22 would have been like some regular ass like radio guy in a mid-tier small market radio station, and Lena could have been, a one-time, porn star with failed shoots everywhere or just a stripper at some bar, and their little debaucherous thing that they're doing and their marriage would not be anyone's business or concern, and no one would give a shit because no one would know about it, and everyone would think that, you know, what happens there is, non-existent. Now it's in our face all the time and it's being promoted to make even more money. So that's where I feel the concern is. It's not that it's never happened before and that it's a shock that it's happening now. It's more the danger of it being thrown in front of us quite bluntly and plainly and promoted like it's no big deal. Whereas these are two individuals that just got married and they are promoting the fact that the wife made a sex tape with someone and like what the fuck, like that's not normal and that's not okay. And I really really don't appreciate the lack of commitment. I'm really more concerned for the kids. I don't really care what adults do. And if this was truly consenting between, like, if Adam wasn't coaxed into it or it was his idea, even, okay, at least it was consensual and that's how they want to handle their marriage. But it's one thing to just have like an open marriage and keep it secret and not record it and post it on the internet. What they're doing is wrong. And I think it would be wrong to any children that they have in the future. And there's also, a lot of porn stars that do have children and they keep doing sex work. It's like, what are you doing for your kids? What example are you setting for your kids? It's one thing if like you're single and you don't got anything going on for you, but like, and it's still not like the greatest career move. I really wouldn't recommend doing that unless you were absolutely like desperate. But to open yourself up to that, I mean, like, you know, that's viewable for the rest of your life and your kids could watch it too. And I think that's dangerous. I think it's really a poor example to set for your kids. And I think it's just not good. It could be used against them. It could be used for blackmail eventually. And I don't know, man. Like, I just don't think that this is a good move. And I'm tired of seeing Adam22 and Lena on my Twitter feed and my internet, when I'm on Reddit or I'm on like Facebook and seeing these memes. It's very annoying. And this is what it comes down to, right? It creates these arguments over and over and over again. And, on the plus side of social media, it's like, wow, we can have these conversations and openly talk about it and have actual evidence to show that this is happening instead of small town hearsay, as in the 80s and the 90s. But the downside is these things keep getting replicated over and over and over again, and we're seeing it over and over and over again. So that means it could be seen as more acceptable to create a oh, what's up, Vengetic? Um, More acceptable to create a lifestyle where you can make porn and have your wife or your husband have sex with a bunch of random people and see it thrown on the internet like that. I think that's crazy. Um, I really think that's crazy, and I don't think it's acceptable at all. There's a lot of things I don't understand about that. I don't know why or what would drive you to that. Now, there are some people that are saying that, Adam's decision and Lena's decision was to make money and be like, yo, let's create some internet controversy. And because, listen, sex sells and controversy is great. Like, there's no such thing as bad press. And listen, sex did sell, and it's controversial. It's a controversial thing they're doing. So they're getting a lot of attention. For example, I never knew about Adam22, nor did I even know about this Lena lady until this tape dropped and it was getting promoted and people were making memes about it. And now I'm talking about it on my podcast. So on one hand, am I giving them publicity? Sure. On the other hand, am I a fan? No, but there's no such thing as bad press. So I just kind of I think I got all my, like, feelings about it out, but personally, like, I think this is really bad for the country. I totally at a personal level, I'm not down with it. Like, I think that's disgusting. I think marriage is sacred. I think relationships are sacred. You should be with your person, and that's it. If you wanna do all that porn shit and you wanna, like, do stuff with yourself like that and you don't care about your reputation, stay single. Stay single. When you're ready to commit to someone, you should commit to someone. Um At a political level and a practical level, it's dangerous for the country and sets a horrible precedent for the next generations. And it will erode not only at the moral fiber of the country, but it will affect us economically for reasons I said before, where it's going to be hard to maintain commitment to anything. There's not going to be a stable family life, so the possibility of criminal enterprise and activity will rise in this new generation of children coming from families like that. And if that's normalized and becomes more widespread, it could be catastrophic for the country. So I'm firmly against it. Anyway, thank you again for watching another episode of Backpacking America. This is episode 244. We're off for the weekend, so Saturday, Sunday, you won't get any new content out of me. Sorry, guys. But starting Monday, 6 p.m. is when I will be recording new episodes of the show. Tune in Monday to Friday, 6 p.m., and that will be the time, unless otherwise stated. I'll make a post on the Instagram and Facebook, and you'll be alerted to that. But until then, see you guys next time.